dictator.
Yeah.
You may say, some of you guys may say this is just rhetoric. He's just talking. He's just being Trump, which is, I've heard that so much. I'm sick of hearing it right now. But does it reveal a deeper shift in how Americans view power, leadership and democracy? We're going to explore the psychology behind this authoritarian mindset, because that's exactly what it is. This is not a country that's run by a king or a dictator, and why people are open to this type of strongman rule. There's some changes that's going on within the United States, and what this moment says about the future of democracy and the United States. Okay, where we're going, what's going to happen to the United States. It's kind of scary, because I've never seen the climate in the United States where one person is pretty much doing exactly or everything that he wants to do, and no one is governing that person. It's kind of scary, because I think when they first came up with the Constitution and they had everything in writing, they didn't think that it would get to where we are today. And so I can guarantee you that there are going to be some revisions to that Constitution after Trump leaves office. I can almost guarantee you that. Yeah. Sure. Okay, guys, so we're going to get started shortly. So let us know where you're shouting out from. Go ahead and hit that like, that share, that subscribe button. We're going to get started shortly.
Yeah.
And tonight's topic is centered around the statement that Trump made, that sometimes you need a dictator. This is the most dangerous statement a president can make. And we want to dissect that statement, and we want to hear from you guys what you think that statement means. Do you think he actually wants to become a dictator, just like countries like Russia and China? Do you think he wants the United States to be that and no longer live in a democratic state, country, which is what we have right now? So go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for coming on in the room. Shout out to that's me, Slim TR, Honey C. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you guys, and thank you for being a part of the J&B family. As I mentioned earlier, we got a hot topic for you guys, so thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. And we're ready to get started. Go ahead and give us a shout out as to where you're from, what city and state you live in, and let us know exactly where you are. And if ICE is in your city, we recently learned that, they've been there for a while, but they're now in Atlanta, in the Atlanta, Georgia area. So if they're in your state, please, if somebody's in from Minneapolis, let us know what the climate is, what happened today. I know that there was recently another person that was murdered, a nurse, and there's a lot of uproar in that city. So let us know exactly how you're dealing with ICE, and if anyone else has been affected.
Yeah, we appreciate it, guys. Apologies for having small technical difficulties, but we are here again. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. What's up, family? Appreciate you guys joining us.
Yes.
Again, make sure you guys take the time and share the live. Make sure you guys hit that like. And if you guys are watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's free. Mm-hmm. Okay. Welcome back to another episode of J&B Live Podcast. Let's talk about it. I'm Broker J3.
Okay, and I'm Dr. B. And like I said, this is more than just Republicans versus Democrats. We're not doing those party lines. We're done with that. That's old stuff. We're not talking about that anymore. It's not no Republicans versus the Democrats. It's not none of that. We're done with that. We're just going to keep it real. What's happening to the United States is affecting everyone. It does not matter your party. So I am your girl, Dr. B, your favorite auntie. And tonight's conversation is centered around one sentence that may go down as one of the most revealing political statements of our lifetime.
That's right. And as Dr. B said, if you guys have been following us for quite some time now, You guys know we don't discriminate between Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian, or whatever party you're in.
Doesn't matter.
And we welcome all. We always have MAGA in the chat.
House.
They're always here.
In
So
the house.
and we appreciate that because we learned that we enjoy the dialogue and we like to talk about it. So make sure you guys respect anybody that could be in the live today. And if their opinions are different from yours, let's talk about it. Let's not talk about each other. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about that statement. The President of the United States, you already know who he is. He said, sometimes you need a dictator. Why?
Okay, guys. So all of you know what a dictator is. You know what countries that have dictators. Two particularly is Russia and China. So you could be thinking, is he talking to his buddy Putin and getting some ideas? You never know. But guys, this is not in a movie. This is here, literally in the United States. This is not in a history lesson. This is here in the United States. This is not in a hypothetical debate. No, it was said by our sitting president here in the United States.
Exactly, guys. And again, a sitting president, said that about governing America. With all of the things that's going on with ICE, to have your president talk about, sometimes you need a dictator. We all know that dictators, they rule with an iron fist.
Yes,
they don't care nothing about the people in their country at all. They just care about more about filling up their pockets financially and seeing what deals that they can make for themselves, not for the people of their country.
Okay, guys. And then you have to ask yourself, why does such a statement like that matter so much? It's because, this is just not about a reason that this, it just doesn't just describe power. It just doesn't just describe power. So guys, you have to think about that. There's some history about, behind that particular sentence. Is he saying that because he wants to become a dictator and stay in power in the United States? Is he taking pointers from Putin as to what he needs to do in order to become a king or a dictator?
Yeah, it's a good question, Doc B, because again, it doesn't just describe power; it redefines power.
Okay.
So let's jump into it. Why that one sentence changes everything. Let's get into it, Doc B.
Okay, so let's start with the language. Words actually shape the reality. If he's putting it out there, when he first said it, I think the press secretary, Donna Levitt, said, oh, he was just joking. Yeah. You think he was just joking? That's what he really wants to happen. He's not joking. Okay, guys. So when a president, words will actually shape the reality because he's putting it out there. So he's pulling it out there. So guess what? It can become a reality.
Yeah, because when a president says sometimes you need a dictator, he's not just describing leadership styles at all. He's probably telling you how he really feels.
Yeah, I think he's telling you how he really feels, and he's telling you that he really wants to be a dictator. This is what he's doing. He's normalizing it. He's putting it out there so you can hear it. So in case he says something 2 or 3 weeks, a little bit later on, pertaining to that same topic, that you're going to start to get it. It's becoming reality. It's becoming normal. He's normalizing an idea that contradicts the very foundation of the American democracy. That's not what we were built on.
Exactly, because America is built on one core principle. No one man, nobody is supposed to have any absolute power.
That is
none whatsoever.
And that's what I was talking about a few minutes ago when I was talking about the Constitution. It's set to where no one has that much power in the United States.
That was one of the reasons why our forefathers set checks and balances with the legislative, executive, and judicial branch of the United States to make sure that these three branches of power make sure that not one branch oversteps and tries to control everything. But as we see, the judicial branch has weighed to the side, leaned towards the president, and we already know that the legislative, which is the House and the Senate, with the majority being the Republicans, they'll pretty much do anything that Trump says. Now, in recent weeks, we have seen a lot of Republicans kind of swaying the fence, especially with some of the ones that visited Greenland not too long ago. So, but nonetheless, it's not a joke. When the president talks like this, guys, this is a world view. This is something that the whole world is looking at. And again, Doc B, we have so many issues going on here at home. Shootings by ICE, killing American people. This is supposed to be dealing with immigrants that should not be here, and not just immigrants that shouldn't be here, but the violent ones, the criminal immigrants that should be here. But what's happening is ICE is killing citizens of the United States. It's shameful.
Yeah, and not just that they're killing people. It's just that once they do that, it's everybody's fault, but ICE's fault, but Pam Bondi's fault. But I forgot the guy's name that I think will be fired shortly, who's actually over it.
From Hexeth?
Not Hexeth. I think it's Gulliver or something like that. I can't think of his name. But it's everybody's fault. It's the governor's fault. It's the senator's fault. It's everybody's fault, but ICE's fault, but DOJ's fault. They're blaming everybody, and that's what they do as well. That's that's one of the things that Trump is known for doing. His whole cabinet does that. They distract and they tell you that it's somebody else's fault. And guess what? Some people believe anything that they say, but if you do your history, you do the history, and you do your research, you know that that's not the case. Okay, so we're gonna make sure we stick to this. Everything that we're talking about, even though we just shifted and start talking about what ICE is doing, that's still dictator characteristics by President Trump, because he's telling them exactly what to do. And just think about those other countries that are dictators, or that have a dictator. Guess what? Who owns it? Who dictate what happens? They have a military base that does exactly what Putin or what's his name, Kim Jong-un, exactly what they tell him to do. That's why he's making that statement, because he really wants to be a dictator.
Yeah, when your best friends are Putin,
and he's in your ear,
it's a lot. It's funny you say it, because when this guy talks about the Democrats witch hunt, talking about Russia. For somebody who claims that he had no collusion with Russia, it's so amazing that he's talking to Putin almost every week. He loves when this guy comes to visit.
Listen, y'all.
It just doesn't make sense.
I guarantee you, when Putin is not gonna share anything with President Trump about this playbook, this dictator playbook, with him on the phone. He's not gonna put it in the email. When he made that visit to the United States and met with Trump, when there were no cameras, no recordings in there. And number one, there's in history that's never been done before. Mm-hmm. So when the two met, it should have been recorded, but they didn't record anything. He told him exactly what to do in order to remain in power.
Exactly. So what does need, when he says sometimes you need a dictator, what does need really mean? Yeah. Let's get into that. Okay. Let's break down that word need.
Okay, need implies necessity. So you know how he believed for women, and see, this is what kills me. This kills me. A lot of women voted for President Trump. A lot of women. I'm not sure the percentage, but guess what? Women don't. If Trump had his way, women wouldn't be able to vote. Women wouldn't be able to do anything. He doesn't care anything about women. People don't understand that. Just think about it. And he wants women to think this is something that they need. Just like he always said, I'm going to take care of you. So need implies necessity, emergencies, like he's going to be right there to save you. He uses that term daddy. When you want you to call him daddy. And then justified. He's justifying why you need a dictator. He's telling you that.
Yeah.
And some people are going to fall for the okie doke.
Yeah, it's funny when you talked about that in regards to women, because he was so proud that he reversed Roe versus Wade, taking away women's power to be able to dictate how what they should do with their own body in regards to abortion.
And then that gets to, I didn't mean to cut you off, Broken Chain 3, but that gets to the same thing. Being a dictator, telling people what to do with their own bodies.
Yeah.
That means total control.
Exactly. So, when leaders say we need extraordinary power, it usually comes with three things, okay? The first is a crisis, which we already see is going down right now.
Yeah.
Number two is a villain. I don't think a lot of people have any issues figuring out who the villain is.
Right.
It can be the administration, it can be ICE, it could be the head of the Department of Homeland Security, it could be the head of the FBI.
Yeah.
It could be the head of Department of Defense, which they want to call itself War now. It could be all of these people that can be classified as the villain. And number three, a promise to fix everything. It's amazing how this president creates issues and then tries to fix the issues and say, hey, I fixed it. But hell, you was the one that caused it.
I done solved 9 wars, or I'm getting rid of the rapists and the murderers. That's why ICE is in effect. Rapists and murderers, you can't just go around and say every person that's is an immigrant, and then every person that you see is a rapist and murderer. There's a due process. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But a dictator believes they can do whatever they want and get away with it and know what's going to stop them. And guess what? What's been happening lately, guys? Wake up. What's been happening?
First of all, it's just sad. I know we're talking about this crazy man wanting to be a dictator, but it just breaks my heart every time I think about what's going on in our nation, guys. We are literally going backwards. Some of the same things that you see now, you seen back in the 60s. This damn Make America Great Again. It's almost like Make America White Supremacy again. And I'm not talking directly to the white people that don't feel this way. You guys see what's going on. Mm-hmm. Trump don't give a damn whether you're white or black. Mm-hmm. Half the people that's getting killed are white people. Yeah. Which is really crazy.
Yeah.
So it's just sad that this is going on in our country. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
And then another thing, guys, one of the reasons that he's doing this is because in order for him to stay in power, if there's he's used martial law, if there's a war that's taking place, the elections can't take place. So he's doing that because just think about it. He knows November he's out. I mean, he knows that he will lose the majority. In other words, because a lot of people are just so displeased. But guess what? If there's a war going on, you think anybody gonna be going out trying to vote for somebody? Yeah. No.
And Lover Boy, you are absolutely right. That is the way he won.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so crazy because the things he tell people what he want to do, what he's going to do, but yet he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
You want to be the president of peace, but yet you're starting wars. You're taking over countries like Putin, and you think it's okay. It's not.
But this is the key to it, guys. He's telling you what you want to hear, but he's doing the opposite. But see, you hearing what he says he's going to do, and you heard that, and that's why you elected him. But he's not doing it. And so what's happening now, once people believe that they're in danger, they will accept almost any authority that promises safety. Just like they saying with ICE, getting rid of the murderers and the rapists. People in their mind, they think all immigrants, because they've been conditioned, they've been told it, are rapists and murderers. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, he's just getting rid of the people, he's going to keep us safe. No. That's a form of dictatorship. That's what he's doing.
Exactly. And it's just a quick break, Dot B, because it'll break your heart every time you
I
think about it.
know.
But I just want to give a quick shout out to our top gifters, guys. You know our policy here at J&B Live. Make sure you guys follow our top gifters. That's just what we do. J&B Live, we follow everybody that follows us. So make sure you follow us and you follow our top gifters. Okay, we really appreciate that.
Okay, we've got a lot of comments, and we appreciate, guys, those comments. So keep them coming. Go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe. I am so glad you guys are joining us tonight because knowledge is power. You need to go know what's going on in your area. You need to know if ISIS in your area. Some people may not even know ISIS in their area. You need to know what's going on in your area, your city, your county, your state, and the United States. You need to know, you need to keep abreast of what's happening.
Exactly.
Okay, guys. So as I said earlier, once you believe you're in danger, you'll almost accept any type of authority that promises safety.
Exactly. That's how dictatorship don't start with force. They start with fear.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, think about what's been going on. The whole fear factor has been ICE. You know, you kill one person, see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. We can lie to the people and say, oh, this person used their car as a weapon.
Yeah.
Okay, let's kill somebody else. Let's say, hey, these people are going against the government, so you know they had the authority to do it. Now you got 3 or 4 people you done killed, and it's like, when is this going to stop?
And listen, for me, guys, I don't know about for you. This makes me angry. It makes me angry because this is not the democratic, you can say state or country. Because how can you just kill somebody and get away with it? And then the nurse that they just killed, they had the nerve to say that he drew his weapon. They're just coming out with all kinds of lies, and it makes me angry. So I can understand why there's unrest in Minneapolis, because I would be upset that this is happening.
Yeah, one of our viewers said he's, she's right. You know, democracy is slow. Sometimes you need someone to just make decisions. You know, and that's how it is. Now that sounds reasonable on the surface.
Yeah,
that sounds reasonable on the surface. But what is the problem with that, Doc B?
Well, but the problem is, who decides when democracy is no longer needed? Who decides that? Who's making that decision for us right now?
That's right. Because every dictator in history started with 3 things. The first, this is only temporary. This is not going to last forever. This is a temporary situation. You know, second, it's necessary.
Same thing. He said those exact same things.
He keeps talking about the insurrection. And that blows me every time I hear it come out of his damn mouth. Because you talking about these people, these protesters are insurrectionists, but yet you pardon all 1,500 of the ones that actually went, committed crimes, and did all of those things. You actually pardoned all those people that actually was insurrection, talking about they was good people. So it's crazy. And number 3, this is for your own good. This is the last thing that they. This is for your own good, because this is going to help protect you. You're going to look out for the people, and it starts off the same way.
Yeah, and can I elaborate on that just a little bit? Okay, first he said this is temporary. Okay, so sending ICE to certain states that have high crime, that's the temporary part. This is necessary. It's for your own good because they're rapists and murderers. And and then this is necessary. So this is what a dictator does. He's getting in your head to where you think what he's doing is for you, but it's not. It's all about control and power. That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
So no dictator ever said, "I'm here to take your freedom permanently." No dictator says that. He's just manipulating everyone, because if you don't know any better, you don't know it better, so you're believing everything that he says. But it's all about control and power.
That's right. And they always say, I'm here to fix what others couldn't. You know. And again, it's just crazy to me, because it's almost like you blame all of the issues that's going on now on previous presidents, and you're the one that's causing these issues. I did a short in regards to when I was doing a comparison on gas prices between Thailand and here in the U.S. And I made a comment that America pays the highest gas
prices,
in the world from all the other countries. And I had one of the MAGA people said, well, it's because Biden did something with the oil prices. And, I had to let them know that, I was only making a comment, between the difference in prices between Thailand and the United States. And then I had to let him know when Trump got in office, the gas prices was lower. The gas price was lower. The gas prices went up, and then they slowly start coming down within the last month. But oh gosh, sometimes it's hard to convince people that's set. Trump is going to have his base. It's going to be there.
Yeah, they're going to be with him. That 33, maybe, well, anywhere from 30 to 36% is going to be with him, no matter what he says. And like I say, if you are MAGA and you're out there and you're listening, more power to you. If you want to continue to follow him, more power to you.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me angry. I don't feel one way or another about it. That's just who you decide to follow. But I can guarantee you, you're going to be affected one way or another. Either you're going to be affected or you're going to know someone that's going to be affected. And like I said, some of you may not even care that you're affected. It may not even bother you, because I've been told that a lot of them don't even care that Trump is doing all of these so-called things that are not qualities of a president. But it doesn't bother you at all.
One of our viewers asked where we were from. We're in the state of Georgia. That's where we're located right now, state of Georgia. Yeah. Okay, question there we got about it. Is democracy too slow right now for the modern problems? What do you guys think? Yes or no? Or if you're not sure whether yes or no, just say it's complicated. Yeah. Because right now so many things are going on, and it just seems like nothing is getting fixed. I can remember at one time if an officer outright shot somebody, especially what happened with the young lady in the car. It's crazy even to think about the lies that he had to go to the hospital because he was injured, knowing he just walked away and drove off. It's crazy that those kind of things can happen with no consequences. There's no elected officials that besides talking and running their mouth, that's actually doing anything to stop all this foolishness.
Yeah, and then not just that, they had an investigation going, and FBI, but they canceled the investigation. And then, like I said, recently with this other young man, that the nurse that just got killed, maybe 2 or 3 days ago, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to prosecute who shot the person. And it is clearly that, that the use of force, just walking around holding a gun just like this, there's people everywhere, just carelessness. And I'm saying to myself, where in the world did they get that training from? Surely that's not how police officers are trained.
No, they're not trained. The regular police officers, a lot of them have issues, but ICE is something completely different. We're talking about seriously untrained individuals. If you ask me, the majority of the ICE people, I believe that most of them are racist. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying it's fact or not, but it just doesn't make sense that you're targeting people. It doesn't make sense if you're white and Democrat, you're a problem. You know what I'm saying? If you're brown, black, is Hispanic or whatever, you're a problem, and it shouldn't be like this in this country.
And this is the kicker. This is the part that gets me, is the two people that were recently, killed and made the headlines. They were white. So I'm trying to figure out, how did that happen? If you're targeting and your target is black and brown people, how did that happen? So there's a lot of uproar, not just in Minneapolis. There's a lot of protests that are going on now. There's going to be a lot of them that are going to go on. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more no king marches. People are tired of this type of drama, and we are not in a country where we have a dictator.
Yeah. And you know what, Doc B, what's the psychology behind wanting to be a dictator?
Okay, here's the uncomfortable truth for me. People don't want dictators because they love tyranny. And I think now this is just my personal opinion. I think Trump just wants to be a dictator because he wants to remain in power, because he knows once he leaves office, he's probably going to be arrested and he'll probably spend the rest of his life in jail.
Or if he lose the midterms, he'll be impeached.
He'll be impeached.
Where he'll be actually kicked out of the presidency, not just impeached without any action.
And then but the Supreme Court did say that some things, you can't arrest the president for, but sitting president. But I think that's what he's afraid of. And not just him, their son-in-law and his sons are doing all kinds of illegal stuff. It's just the whole cabinet is doing illegal stuff, if you ask me.
Yeah. And when people are tired, Doc B, they just don't want to participate. Even now you still hear a lot of people saying that, hey, I'm not going to go to those protests. I'm not going to get involved. Mm-hmm. ICE not bothering me. Yeah, right now they're not. But what happens when they bother somebody in your family?
When they come to your city? Yeah. Okay. And then some people, well, I'm not going to worry about what President Trump is doing because it's not affecting me. But what if it starts affecting you? Then you want to say something. But as American citizens, we shouldn't sit by and watch our neighbors mistreated, because it could be us next.
Exactly.
And a lot of people, they want relief because they're tired. They're tired of this drama, and they know it's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. And just think about it. He's only been in office a year. We got 3 more years.
Exactly. And that relief often comes in the form of someone else taking control.
That is true. That is true. Okay. So guys, let's think about this. We've got a scenario for you. This, if the system is broken, why not try something different? And what Trump does is he throws out the different terms, and we talked about what he does is he try to make it seems like he's there as your protector, and being your protector, he's going to do this and do that. It's for your own good. And so that's how he's trying to make it right. Part of a normal for him to become your dictator.
Yeah, that's right. And Mr. Voice, the key, you're right. Sooner or later, it will affect us all. Mm-hmm. We all might have a dead voice to it at the moment, but sooner or later, it's going to affect us all, regardless. It's funny. A lot of people really not paying attention because everybody's in their own little box.
Yeah.
But sooner or later, your box is going to be open, and you're going to see what's really going on. I'm telling you guys. I made a prediction that either by the midterms or shortly after the midterms, we may see martial law. Yeah. I pray we don't. But it seemed like it's going in that direction because the way the ICE is cutting up right now, people are rebelling against ICE. Trump wants to enact the insurrection law so that he can kick in that martial law.
Yeah, keep that martial. Yeah, and what he's doing is he's turning the American citizens against each other. In other words, like the police going up against ICE. And then of course ICE going up against just regular American people. So he's turning us against each other. And that's part of his plan. He knows exactly what he's doing. And also, guys, if he inserts the martial law, just think about it. When it's time to have the election, a lot of people are going to be scared. Yes, they're going to be scared to get out and go vote. That's what he wants you to do. He wants you to be scared.
Yeah.
But that's what people got to do. If ICE comes to your city, what you want to do is use your camera, record everything, but you also want to be safe. You want to be safe and don't do anything that's going to provoke ICE.
Yeah, and girl, boo, you're right. Trump is trying to bring back segregation.
Yes, he is.
But keep in mind, it's not the old school segregation where it was black and white. Trump is trying to segregate based on financial status. Yep. Trump don't give a damn if you're black, white, Hispanic. He don't care nothing about you. If you're not in that rich class, he don't give a damn about you. Mm-hmm. That's just point blank. And if you guys have been paying attention to what's going on, he does not care at all whether you white, black, or whatever. If you rich, you good to go. You could be a rich criminal, convicted.
Well, we already know that.
And he'll pardon you with the right fee.
Yeah, you got to pay him to pardon you.
For the right fee.
Everything that he does is tied to money. Everything he does, guys. All of these people who he has pardoned, it's tied to money. They paid him to do that.
Yeah, even the people in Qatar giving him the plane. Qatar tied to terrorist organizations. But yet you getting supposedly a free plane from them. Come on, guys, you have to really open up your eyes to what's going on. America is starting to look really, really crazy right now.
Yeah, guys. So you can reform democracy, but guess what? When it comes to being authoritarian, where he's in control, where we got a dictator, once it's established, it's gonna be hard to go back.
That's right, because
you can overturn what's going on in Russia and China now. No.
Because once that power stops being accountable, it stops being negotiable.
Yes, you can't reverse it.
You really can't. And you're right, girl, boo. Stuff that's in the Bible is a lot of stuff is coming true.
Yeah.
When we talk about the wars, rumors of wars, look what's happening right now. I'm talking about America. We used to help countries where other countries was trying to invade them, and now we're the country that's doing it. We're the country where the president and his administration doesn't care whether people eat. They don't care whether people got health insurance. They don't care about none of that stuff. The White House ballroom is more important.
Yeah.
It just does not make sense to me.
And watch this, guys. Watch this. There will be no more middle class. Mm-hmm. You will either be poor
or rich.
The middle class is gone.
It's shrinking every day.
It's shrinking
every day. Now think about this. I talk about this all the time, but I want you guys to make your own determination on this. Now, when I first started working, I'm in my late 50s, but when I started working, I was making $3.35 an hour. $3.35 an hour. We're in the state of Georgia right now. The minimum wage as of right now, is $7.25.
In Georgia,
$7.25. So why is it over 40-something years later, the minimum wage only went up $4 and some change?
Yeah.
Now, some states do offer more because their cost of living is higher, but still, think about that.
Yeah.
Just doesn't make sense.
And every time it's been presented to increase the minimum wage, they shoot it down, and it's mainly shot down by Republicans.
And the funny thing, to go back for a brief second, when they found out, the government found out that the minimum wage was too low, was COVID. I'm gonna tell you why. When COVID hit, they was giving everybody unemployment based on a national rate.
Yeah.
That national rate, people was getting $600 to $800 a week. Now think about that. It's some people don't even make that in a week. Listen, nobody didn't want to go back to work. You making more money at home doing nothing under unemployment.
Yes.
You making more money a week than most of us was making in a whole month.
That's why a lot of people didn't go to work.
That's when they found out that the minimum wage was too low.
Yeah. I remember.
It was crazy.
Okay, guys. So this isn't about whether Trump will become a dictator. This is not what we're talking about. I'm gonna be honest with you. We're on our way.
Yeah, and in fact, it's about the fact that he's publicly saying it. Mm-hmm. That's the part that does not make sense. Mm-hmm. The president of the United States is publicly saying sometimes you need a dictator. Mm-hmm. Why would you say that?
Yeah. That is just crazy to me. So this means that the mental boundaries has already shifted because he's already making statements like that. And so when he's putting it out there, he's not kidding. He's making, for him to make a statement like that just blows me away. But his mindset has shifted. And guess what? If he says it, he believes he can.
That's right. What used to be unthinkable is now discussable.
Yeah.
Because now people are actually wondering, especially some of the people, his cronies, his subordinates,
And a lot of them don't care, because if he remains in power, they become richer and richer. They tying up everything. They got the stock market, that these hedge funds, and the owners of Facebook. They're controlling the media. White power.
Yeah,
they see that as longevity.
It's amazing that you got a lot of them senators and House representatives are putting a lot of money into certain stocks. Like they got their heads up on what's going on and what's not going on. It just is really crazy. A lot of them are becoming multimillionaires. Since Trump has been president again. Not to mention, Trump has made $3.8 billion in one year.
Filthy rich.
As president.
Now, what if President Obama had did that? What about Joe Biden? Oh my God, the Republican Party would have lost their minds. So this is becoming a norm, guys. So the most important question is, does Trump want to be a dictator?
But the real question is, why are so many people open to the idea? And I think it's because once a society believes it needs a dictator, it has already lost faith in itself.
Okay, guys. So no more strong men. A strong man can replace a population that no longer believes in its own power.
That's right. Democracy only works when people are willing to do the hard part, which is participation.
Yeah, guys. So we have to be active, because if we are not careful, guys, we will have a dictator. If we're not careful now, if we don't stand up for what we believe, we have to call our local representatives, our senators, our Republicans, whoever's representing you in your state. You have to be heard, because the moment people outsource responsibility, they eventually outsource freedom. And we don't want to give up our freedom, guys. We don't want to do
that. Somebody said a big old BB and CC whining. I wish I had their money. Appreciate it, Nam. Thank you so much. Big shout outs to everybody out there that's been watching this podcast today. Big shout out to everybody been tapping the screen, engaging, commenting, sending the gifts. We really appreciate it. And just really engaging in this conversation. We really, really appreciate you guys. And just thank you guys so much for joining us each Thursday and Tuesday. And in between, when we jump live, just to bring a hot topic to you guys.
But go ahead and subscribe. So if you subscribe, when we go live, you will be notified. So don't forget to follow, subscribe, comment, and share, because these discussions shape our future, guys. We have to stay involved, and we need to stay engaged as well.
That's right, guys. And we look forward to seeing you guys again this Thursday. Again, we thank you for joining us. Guys, just be more conscious of what's going on around you. I know a lot of you guys hate watching the news, because when you turn it on, you see it's just a bunch of mess going on. The administration, the government is just doing literally too much. Stay strong. Always keep a watchful eye, and stay prayerful.
Stay prayed up. Meditate, but you can't, because I get like that. If I watch too much of it, it drains me. It takes all of my energy. But I have to stay abreast of what's going on, because I can't wait for someone else to tell me. I have to know what's going on. So in the meantime, in order to deal with all of that, I definitely want to meditate, and I definitely have to pray.
All right, guys. Thank you again for joining us for the J&B Live Podcast.
Yes.
I'm Broker J3.
And I'm Dr. B.
And as always, guys, let's talk about it.
Thank you.